Quoi? Bah non. On voit que jusqu'à là. Ouais, c'est parfait. Par contre, c'est super joli, vraiment. Mm. Alrighty. Um, je fais pour... Bon, c'est pas grave, je vais mettre ça là. All right. We are live. Welcome, everyone. So this is going to be an analysis of the N4 national game that I just played today. This was the second round of N4 division, which I don't even know what the equivalent is in English, but it's basically the national division here in France. The like approximate rating, I would say, is anywhere from, it could be as low as 1399 elo to like we literally had a 2000 rated player that we faced. So I don't I don't really get it, but I would say the average is around, we're talking around 1600 to like 1850, 1900. This was kind of an intense match because it's kind of a long story. There was this team that didn't want to come to our club because it's in kind of a sketchy neighborhood in Paris. And so there was some drama going into this match. They all showed up slightly late, and our arbiter decided to penalize them for that. So they all had 15 minutes taken off their clock. They didn't appreciate that. They kind of lashed out, and that is how the match started. It was pretty tense conditions. Anyways, so I am playing with the black pieces tonight, and this was just earlier. And my opponent is Alan, rated 1887. To be honest, I was not thrilled to see the rating, because he's just clearly a higher rated opponent. Like, I've only beaten a couple 1800. Actually, I've only beaten one 1800. I've drawn a few. Anywho, so, and this was like a team match. So 8 players each team. 2 of their team members didn't show up, so like they immediately lost 2 points right there, and we had, you know, a 2 point start, which I guess is nice for us. Anyways, all right. So this video is going to be, I guess, kind of dedicated to the English opening because, well, this could be a ready opening with just knight f3, but you guys will see. Knight f3, like I'm not super familiar with, and so I would so much rather see e4 or even d4 at this point, or even c4. I kind of prepared against all of these and not knight f3, although luckily I did just play this in a blitz, in-person blitz that day. Anyways, knight f3, I decided to go knight f6. Like I said, I had just played this in a blitz game, so I knew that like the first few moves here were okay. D6, and then if he had gone knight c3, then I just go for like the Nimzo Indian setup and plan on taking the knight, and then potentially going for this cool like knight e4 f5 setup that I got from Mr. Igor from Remote Chess Academy. That didn't happen. So knight f6, c4. e6, and what I didn't realize is like this is basically an English. This is basically in English. So like I already am going into this game kind of just thinking, I don't know what the hell this is exactly. Just so you guys are aware, if you guys are curious, this is the English opening, the Anglo-Indian King's Knight variation, I guess. So this is that particular variation. I went for b6. Um, and so far, like everything's fine. I'm in theory still b6, and then maybe bishop b7 was better here, or d5. But I went for bishop b4 because that's like kind of all I know how to do with the setup. My opponent was playing really fast, so pretty quickly I was down on time. Bishop b4 and then queen c2, mostly because if takes, he can take back with a queen and not, avoid ruining the pawn structure. Here I go bishop g7 and a3, which is kind of to be expected. And up until now, I just know that I'm okay and that it's perfectly fine snapping the knight off, as you guys can see with the eval bar here. Oh, you guys cannot see. Let me switch that. This is perfectly even, for playing the black pieces, like already achieving equality out of the opening is not too bad. Queen takes c3. And then here I think is where this is the first move I really took a while to think. I just, for some reason, have problems castling really early. I hate letting my opponents get an early kingside attack, even if there is none. So sometimes I like to keep it flexible and wait to castle. That's sometimes good, that's sometimes bad, but give me one sec here. Okay. Yeah, so this is where we get out of sort of the very beginning of the opening, and I'm like, great, now what do I do? I just have to play off of instinct, basically. So I go for d6 to get my knight out to d7. I've seen this idea, but I didn't know if this really worked in this exact opening. Bishop e2, knight b to d7, b3, and now, like, I'm kind of thinking, great, he's getting this really nice diagonal, he's building a battery, castling into that is going to be really annoying, and it's just out of my comfort zone. And all I know is what I've been trying to play is this like knight e4 and then f5 setup, which is really cool because, well, basically that knight is really annoying. But that's mostly when they've already played d4, and this e4 square is really weak. And you know what? I'm actually wondering here, why didn't I? Oh, right, so I can't play knight e4 right now because he just takes on g7. I would have loved to, but I couldn't do that. And so I was kind of deciding between c5, knight c5 to bring this knight over here. And I opted for knight c5, which is kind of the first inaccuracy. And then my opponent played d3, which I thought was, pretty solid. It's just like, what, it's like, I don't even know what the setup would be exactly, but he's clearly just trying to, like, look at this. Clearly just trying to take away all these squares. It's not easy. This is not the kind of position that I like playing against. I'm not playing a Scandinavian. I'm not in my comfort zone here. So I had to kind of find ways to play against this. I decided to go queen e7 with ideas of maybe going like e5, e4. We got to break the center open somehow, even though he has the bishop pair. Switch the music up here. So yeah, so we go here. I go queen e7. Still not ready to castle. Like, I still don't know exactly where I want to castle. White castles, and then I play e5. Here, I honestly don't even know what I was thinking exactly, just that my bishop, the diagonal stays open. If he does go bishop b2, then I'm kind of shutting that down for the moment. I might go e4, because I would like to kick away the knight on f6. Sorry, f3. Without that knight on f3, like, I can get some really big kingside attacks. He responds with d4. So up until now, like, e5 is excellent move. d4 is excellent. I maneuver the knight to go to e4, so I was kind of happy to see this move, I would say. Knight c to e4. I could have gone. The computer, by the way, actually likes, let's see here, knight f to e4. So knight f to e4 is a move because if the queen goes back, you'd think like, it's kind of sketchy because your knight's your knight that's being attacked is defending the other knight being attacked, but the bishop is still covering him. And so here you would just go knight d7. And then this is definitely protected, e5. This is protected, but like I'm so out of my comfort zone here. This is not a position. None of these are positions that I'm used to. All of this is new to me, pretty much. So I just decided to go knight c to e4. How bad this can be? How bad can this be? I'm hitting the queen. So he's got to move the queen again. Goes queen c2, which is basically what I was expecting. And then again here, I'm like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this position. So I decided to take, and this is kind of not the first mistake, but like the first big mistake that really changes the position. So if you can see here, we're roughly even. Like here, white has a slight advantage. After taking, I'm opening up the position, so that's probably just not good for the playing against the bishop pair. That's just probably not good, period. I don't need to take, so I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I was afraid of, maybe I think I was afraid of like d5, closing my bishop out. But let me know if any of you guys watch this or you're watching this on YouTube later, what you think about this. But there's no reason I needed to take. And I knew too, I was like, well, if knight takes, his knight's maybe hopping into the position, but mostly I'm afraid about knight here and here. And if I flip the board, when I analyze this afterwards and look from white's perspective, it is so obvious that it is not a good move. I would like to see this as white. So I don't really know why I played this move, and I definitely regret it. The best move here is just simply just castling, like just castling. If he plays d5, let's see, d5, I guess we can go c6. Not the most obvious move to me, but like this is fine. Castle, and we're fine. That's not what happened. So here he takes with a knight, and then there's this big problem with knight f5 coming in, and this was when I started to really crumble. But luckily, so I decided to play c5 and just let my opponent do this. My plan was to either go queen here, or I think maybe queen here, let him take on g7 to open the g file. And I was kind of saying like, go ahead and do it. I dare you. And after a long think, my opponent did take quite a while here. That didn't happen. He went back to f3. So he had a chance to gain the advantage, and he lost it. And now we're dead even. So boom, we're dead even. My opponent kind of believed my blunder there, or my bluff, sorry. He goes back. I have this awkward pawn on d6 that is hard to defend, but like at the moment, it's just not really much of an issue. Like the rook still has to come over, and it's gonna take him a while to attack this weakness, but nevertheless, I go rook d8 before castling. I just figure I want to get ready to maybe play d5 and have a rook on the d file. I thought about castling long, but I did not think that was a good idea. So best move here, and this is kind of the most important part of the game, I would say. What's up, Witty? How's it going? The most important of the game, as far as I'm concerned, and if you guys are interested, like pay attention here, because this is a common tactic I have seen. I was looking at ideas of knight g4, because when you have the two knights here, even with the rook defending, you can often take on f2, and there's lots of tactics. I didn't see those tactics yet right away, because the bishop's defending. Sometimes you like take, and you get to take here with check, and you win a piece somewhere over here. But this is actually a good move and really tricky. Let's just say, for example, he goes h3. I had looked at this in the analysis. You can play h5. Okay, so this specific line, h5, let's just say takes. Immediately you're in big trouble. You can't play knight g5. I mean, you can, but it's just a free knight. The rook's opened up and the king's in huge trouble. So that's kind of cool. you can just lay this trap. Um, it's also a brilliant move. The knight d2 is the best move here, and then queen e5. Wow, yeah, it's super aggressive. I love it. If he goes here, then you have mate, and if he takes, then you take and open up the H file. You take, you get mated, you go here, I go here, you're still mated. Wow, how do you stop this actually? F4. Ah, F4, and then en passant, knight takes. This is absolutely nuts. So anyways, we don't need to go into all this. There's another moment where knight g4 works. But he goes back. And then rook d8, bishop b2. And I believe it was here. So let's see. Castles is best. Rook a to d1. I doubled up here. I think, yeah. Again, knight g4. Here's the best move. So, yeah, like my plan was just to simply double up in the d file. But knight g4 here, once again, and if h3... Somewhere here, there was knight takes. Let's just do it. It's like it's like the fourth move down. Somewhere I was analyzing this, and knight takes g2. There were tactics, and it was winning. So this is not yet the case. Let's see here. Knight h6. Ugh. Computer likes this. Knight g4 is best. h3 is best. Okay, not easy stuff. Knight h6, knight e1, f5. Yeah, like I looked playing f5 as well, but it just seems kind of weird without the e pawn there. Okay, well, anyways, I think that the idea was that after sacking here, there's tactics. With the two knights, there's a lot of tactics you can learn, which I have, many of which I have yet to learn, as you can tell. But also it just doesn't work here. So rook over, I go rook d2, knight d2. Maybe it's here. Is it here? Damn it, it's not here. Rook f to d8, knight takes d2. Yeah, no, okay, so knight goes back. I thought that this was kind of like, at this point I was kind of happy because he's basically pulling back and trying to trade off, saying, I don't like your knight, I'm trying to get rid of it. And of course it removes the defender of the h2 square. So I was kind of happy to see this move, if for no other reason than I can take, and no matter what he does, take, and I go knight e4, and I get a little tempo on the queen or the rook. So I hit the rook. I had calculated this, that if takes, rook goes down to d3 probably because he wants to double up. Oh god, what are we listening to here? Just sorry guys. And then here, I saw this move because, just so you guys are aware, there's some really cool checkmate threats where you can sometimes sack the queen. You know, let's say like the queen is, let's say they play like g3, right? And let's see. And the knight is here, and I don't know, like the queen is here. Let's say you like played the queen here and they take, and you give this check. Well, that's actually checkmate. The knight, this bishop that's cutting off the diagonal, and the knight delivering the check there is actually checkmate. So I was kind of like thinking about that checkmate pattern that I had looked at some videos. And I thought about this move g5. I just didn't really know what the follow-up was. So the computer's saying knight g5, but then f3. Can't take here. Here's the rook. f5. Yeah, this is pretty wonky. Like, I honestly can't be super upset at myself for not knowing what the hell. Like, this is so unusual to me. But anyways, yeah, knight g5 was an idea. And let's just say, like, knight g5. If I were white, let's say you played like something, I don't know. What's a tempting move? Bishop. Let's just say, like, what happens if they play h4? This would be more of like a blitz move, but yeah, okay, you can immediately threaten mate and they can't take. Anyways, so we get here, rook d3. I'm literally down to like 10 minutes or less on my clock. I was super terrible at managing my time, and my opponent was playing super quickly too. I've got to get better at this. I think this is like the last. This is the last classic game that I play this slow. I kind of like being prepared with my openings and being able to play them. You know, play the first move, play the first 10 moves of theory. Sorry, quickly. Here I go, Queen H4. I figure there's Kingside is somewhat weak, and if I can get some kind of attack, unfortunately I can't really get a rook lift easily. Even if I were to play like F5, I can't really rook lift, but I didn't really know exactly what my plan was here. But we get F3, which is the best move, Knight G5. White is slightly better now, but I'm playing pretty good moves here still. Knight G5, E4, just taking away like all these squares for my knight. And then here I decided to go, I double up the rooks first. So rook F to D8, rook F to D1, and then now I go knight E6. I'm kind of eyeing this fork. Not really entirely sure how good it is, but keep in mind too, like if, I don't know, let's just say makes a random move. If I go here and he were to play this, it doesn't really, it's not a threat because I can take with check. But so knight E6, G3. Here I figured, well, queen H3 just looks bad because bishop F1. So that, yeah, that doesn't look good. I decided to just go back to E7. Queen G5, it looks like is the best move. Yeah, okay, this is stupid. Well, Queen G5 though, I thought bishop C1, Queen G6. Okay, it really wants the queen lined up with the king, which makes some sense. This wouldn't be possible. This is just a free, yeah, that's a fork and he can't take with a pawn. I didn't do that. I kind of played a passive move, went back to E7 here, and now like you can really see with the eval bar, white is just kind of slightly better. Like I don't have any real, yeah, my bishop is blunted, the material's even, but so anyways, rook D1, rook D2, sorry. Now I go knight G5. I had ideas, I had dreams, I had ideas, tactics here. I'm just trying to be tricky too. I'm probably about 5 or 6 minutes here, and this is like 1 hour, 30 minutes, you know, classical time control. We're not yet to the 40th move where you get the added 30 minutes. My opponent's at like 20 minutes or like 15 minutes, and I'm at 5 minutes. So just terrible time management on my behalf. But bishop back to F1. I guess he just doesn't want me getting in. I don't know. Yeah, this move makes a lot of sense to me. So even though it is actually a mistake. So wow, bishop F1 is a mistake because, did I miss something? Yeah, again, because F5, like I don't know, man. You can't push because I can take. Oh, that would be a miss. Oh, we can throw this move in. Okay. I just don't, I don't know. I don't know why I like felt so weird about playing F5. I just kind of figured like it's got this battery and it's not an easy move, I'm going to be honest, but if I think about trying to break open these pawns in front of the king, it does make sense, and just simply trying to break open, like open up my bishop, right? In fact, let's just say here, yeah, okay, I should have actually considered this because here if takes, I immediately get a fork. That's just straight up winning. Why didn't I, like, okay, F5, bishop G2. Okay, F takes E4. F takes E4. Whoa. Queen F7. Okay, wow. I regret not playing F5. So I will say like the knight G4 idea and definitely F5 were some key moves here that I needed to find. Because instead, I'll show you guys what happened. I'm like super low on time, and I kind of budge and play H5 to just create some loop for my king, and with ideas of just trying to break open the king side and playing H4. He goes H4, and then here's where it goes downhill. Because if I go like knight E6, he might be able to pin me here. I'm not really sure like what the continuation would have been. Yeah, like the computer's wanting b5. I don't even know what's going on here. But anyways, h5. My opponent plays h4, and I was eyeing these tactics earlier. Like, for example, this. But the problem is he can always just like slide over and pin me. This would be a mistake though, because like takes, and then takes, and I'm just fine, I believe. I'm not fine actually. But there was that tactic, or there's also just like bishop takes. But same issues. The rooks can slide over, and you can tell by the eval bar it clearly doesn't work. I was trying to be tricky, and I just figured, you know what? At this point, if I go like knight e5, he's gonna it's just like slowly crippling my position, and I should have, because knight e6 here, I'm losing. Like, I'm definitely worse, but it's not completely lost. But yeah, as you guys can see, like, I had a chance. I had a few chances to equalize, but I played too slow here. And like, I mean, yeah, with 3 or 4 minutes on the clock, like, good luck finding moves like f5 in a classical game. I could have, but... So this is kind of where that game ended. Takes, queen here. I'm literally playing with like 2 or 3 minutes on the clock. Queen e6, sorry, queen e5. Shouldn't be trading because I'm down material, but like I don't really have much of an option that I can tell. And here he's forcing more trades, so... Yep, and then I saw this move, it's pretty much over. It's completely over. There's no way for me to keep defending the bishop, and I still have to defend against like mate on g7. Trying to think here. Yeah, there's no good way. So anyways, that was another round. This has kind of motivated me to like start studying, and I actually did just create an entire study. Oh my god. I created an entire study for the English. I've switched to Lichess. I don't know about y'all, but Lichess I think is just straight up better with their analysis and their studies and stuff. And so actually I can show you guys here. Let's see. If I switch it, you should be able to see this. Yes, like this is a little English chapter I added, and I decided, all right, if basically knight f3 can transpose to an English, and that's what kind of happened. So I decided against knight f3 now, against knight f3, I'm going to play d6, because if they go with an English setup, then I can transpose to a Grand Prix attack, which I love to play. I love this setup. Like, I absolutely love it. I'm kind of new to it, but I love it. I think it's challenging for white to play against, and it's aggressive as black. I like aggressive openings. The problem is if they play d4 right away, then you have to like transpose to probably some sort of King's Indian setup here. I'm still learning this. There's different options, but this is instead of going like knight f6, d6, bishop b4, and going for like a Nimzo Indian setup. Again, let me know what you guys think, what you like playing against knight f3. I mean, knight f3 could be any number of things too. Like, it's kind of annoying to see this move, because at least when I see, you know, if someone plays e4 against me, they're playing a Scandinavian. Whether they like it or not, we're playing a Scandinavian, and we are in my comfort zone. When someone plays knight f3, we're probably in their comfort zone, as you guys could tell there. So I'm, yeah, trying to work a lot on the English, playing against English, and d4. Those are kind of my weaknesses. It's definitely the English, d4, this kind of crap. So that is all for tonight. Pretty much no one was watching the stream, but that is fine. I'm going to make this a video. I'm going to upload this. If you are watching, do me a favor and follow. I'll be streaming again, guys. We'll play some more. I'll actually like play some chess, but I really wanted to analyze this game. And that's all I have for you tonight. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you guys soon.